Welcome everyone to the Holy Sparks podcast. Saul K here, super excited and grateful for this unique on location interview with the owner of Krembo Bakery. Now, before we get into this, let me go ahead and give you a little history of Krembo and of my guest. Krembo was developed over a period of 10 years by Fran Lent, Coe and Esty Marcus. It started with Fran baking in her kitchen in Encino, California as a young girl and always enjoying eating desserts. She even entered into the Betty Crocker baking contest, did not win, but had a great time in the process. She has worked in the food industry in several marketing positions before she started her own company, Fran's Healthy Helpings, a company that made healthy frozen meals for kids. As she evolved in her baking and spiritual Jewish life, her and her husband created a kosher home. Finally, she decided to open up her very own bakery, which would provide kosher baked goods to the Bay Area. In this process, she enrolled in the San Francisco Baking Institute in the Bay Area. The 6-month course was truly transformational. As Fran became close with her main instructor, Coe, she asked Mary if she would like to help her on the journey of opening up a kosher bakery. Thankfully, Mary said yes. Then Rebbitzin Esty Marcus suggested to Fran to consider housing the bakery at the new Chabad Center. This was an inspired idea, and here we are today, one of the few bakeries in the Bay Area providing Parve kosher baked goods. The Chabad Rebbe's words of wisdom: think good and it will be good. Tracht good, vazain good in Yiddish. Stress the importance of positive thinking. His influence has been woven into all we do at Krembo Bakery. To this end, the tagline is, taste good, think good. Fran, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you. I'm so happy to be here.
Oh, this is so exciting. And just in case you're wondering, for those of you watching, we are going to be able to actually take a look inside the bakery for tips and tricks. But for now, tell us a little bit about growing up Jewish in Encino.
Actually, talking about bakeries, I don't know, it is an iconic place, but Bee's Bakery was not kosher, but it was a very popular place in Tarzana. And I used to love going there, and really I wanted to work there. I never did, but I just always wanted to have a bakery very similar to Bee's Bakery. But no, it was a very Jewish, large Jewish community. I went to a public high school and there was a lot of Jewish people. So they pretty much, no one gave tests on Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur, but grew up in a strong more culturally Jewish community and family.
They call Encino the Valley, for those people, right?
Yes.
People,
yeah.
Okay. So you're technically a Valley girl.
I am. I know no one knows about that title anymore, but yes, I am.
I love it. Okay. And so it's actually have very Jewish area. I have tons of friends down there as well. And there's some great shuls down there as well. And so when did you and your husband first encounter Chabad? Or did you encounter it separately before you met each other?
No, we did it together. It was really when our oldest kids, when they were in first or second grade at Warnick Jewish Day School, Esty and Yossi moved here. And they moved here from the East Coast, and they were the shaliachs for Chabad. And Esty was a Jewish studies teacher for Warnick, and Han and Brad, our oldest kids, were there. Like her first pupils at her class was the first class that she taught at Warnick Jewish Day School. So that was really right when both of them moved here. That's when we became enamored by them.
Amazing. And in case you're listening to this and you don't know who those people are, Rabbi Joseph Marcus is the Chabad rabbi in the North Peninsula, and his wife is Esty Marcus. Wow. How lucky to have Esty as your JS studies teacher. My goodness. Those are some lucky kids.
Yeah, she was the best.
Yeah. And so tell us a little bit, how has Chabad or being connected with Chabad really impacted your family over the years?
I think they helped us on our journey to become more observant. Really, my husband, Bobby, really led the way. And I was a little actually hesitant at first just because I didn't really understand what Chabad was, or I maybe had some stereotypes about women weren't treated the same or something like that. And as I got to know Esty and Yossi, I completely saw that was erroneous. And little by little, we started keeping kosher, and we started going to shul, and we started to become very close with them and with the community that brought them here. Many of my friends go to Chabad. One of my friends, Challah, really introduced me to like how wonderful it is. She was the one, she really was a very lead person in bringing them to the Bay Area and showing and introducing them to people. And I just went along and just became inspired little by little. And they helped us on, and really they helped us along the way.
So, what were a couple of, this will be really interesting for people to hear. A lot of people that I know I've been connected to Chabad for decades now, but prior to that, I definitely had some stereotypes in my mind and some opinions about who they were and what their agenda was and all kinds of things in my head that turned out to be completely wrong. So,
Mm-hmm.
what were a couple things in your mind that, you talked about the role of women. This would be a great thing to bring to light. What did you think the philosophy was versus how you've experienced it?
Yeah, I think one thing that is really a clear indication of why women are very empowered, even more empowered in the Chabad movement, but or in Rebbitzins are very strong women in mostly every Chabad family that I've met, is like the stereotype of being separate when you're praying. It doesn't mean that you're less than the men at all. It's just you're separate. And that's just the way the synagogue is set up. The machitza and you're separate and has nothing to do with higher status at all. And so as I got you, it took me a while to get used to that because I always was a little bit, I don't know if the right term is brainwashed, but I always was somewhat what thought that if you're separate, that means you're less than. And that's not the case at all. It's actually very comforting to be with like my women friends and my daughter and my husband is on the other side. It doesn't mean that you're not going to see them later. It's just that period of time where you're trying to pray and you're in the synagogue. There is something about it that's actually very special. And you really feel the community and it has nothing to do with status at all. And I guess it just took going to Chabad week after week and suddenly realizing that it's really an unfound fear that people have as makes no difference in what you want to accomplish and who you are.
I love it. That's great. Anything else that you thought about? Maybe had some sort of preconceived notion that you experienced differently?
Yeah, maybe the concept of keeping kosher, because I think that I grew up where it was old fashioned. There was some sort of notion that keeping kosher was old fashioned. It wasn't modern. It wasn't up to date. And I really did grow up with that. What's the point? I grew up with that's something that's anachronistic, maybe even. And I think it took me a long time to feel comfortable keeping kosher. But once you start, and it really is a journey, like 5, 7, 8 years, where I start to really see why keeping kosher does remind you of being Jewish in every time you eat. And what else do you do every single day you eat? But to me, it was just another, yes, it is a restriction, but it is something that you can embrace and enjoy. It's not a burden. Maybe in the beginning it is because you have to change your ways, but that's with any habit. And then now I really embrace it as a very meaningful part of my life.
I love it. It's funny. I actually just Googled something earlier this morning about kashrut or something, and one of the things that came up was this particular group of people sees kosher as old-fashioned or out of date. It was like the same phrase that you just used. Oh, that's something that Jews did hundreds of years ago. In fact, I did another podcast interview in which this woman who's a Jewish educator in Israel said she was in a class at St. Mary's College, and they said, no one keeps kosher anymore. This is what the professor said. She's actually, there's billions of people that do. So it's really interesting to hear that. The other thing that you said, which I think is really good for people to hear, is it was a process, right? You're talking 5, 8 years for you guys to really fully
Mm-hmm.
embrace that. And it's a daily reminder, right? Every time you put something in your mouth, we're here to elevate these things. So thank you for
Mm-hmm.
bringing that out. That's great. Okay, so let's talk about the bakery. Now, we may or may not get recipes at the end. I'm not sure what we're going to be able to get out of Fran here, but talk us through the process of opening up the bakery, maybe some of the logistics of it so people can get the behind the scenes.
Initially, because I always had this dream of having my own bakery, I wanted to open up in Burlingame Avenue. And being close with Esty and Yossi and their whole vision of creating this wonderful new Lent Chabad Center here in San Mateo, this was like maybe 10 years ago. because that's when I also, more than that, maybe even 15 years ago. And Esty would say, why do you want it on Burlingame Avenue? And I would say, because I think I envision myself riding my bicycle to Burlingame Avenue. And I just thought that's where all the traffic is. And she slowly suggested we can have a cafe, we can have a bakery here in our new Chabad shul, and it would be, it could be kosher. And I don't know, after many just discussions, and I was very enlightened by that idea because it's very special. And plus, from a marketing standpoint, it really is a niche because we really are the only Parve kosher bakery in the Bay Area. There's been some in and out, and there are other places, but we're really a dedicated bakery that's going to be around forever. And what more can a person in marketing really fall in love with, which is something where you really own the market? Because we don't just, we sell challah and we sell gluten-free challah and we sell baked goods and we sell birthday cakes. And we're not like Los Angeles, which has many more options. There's not a lot of options. Even people today, they order their Parve sheet cakes for birthday cakes and bar mitzvahs from LA and some of their pastries from New York. And you no longer have to do that. And honestly, mine are, everything here at Krembo is really high quality, and it doesn't taste like, it's not like your grandma's rugula. We have elevated rugula with very high level ingredients. So that was the mission, and that was our mission, to bring high quality, delicious baked goods, kosher Parve baked goods to the Bay Area. That's how we started. And then from there, I had a lot of help from designing. My friend Daphne was the interior designer, and she designed the whole interior of the whole shul. So we're really integrated into the shul. We weren't just a standalone bakery. We're not a retail bakery. So she created this vision of it looking like a shuk or something in Israel, like in Jerusalem. And so the design of everything is very appealing as a little cafe. People just really enjoy coming here and working or eating or gathering with their friends. So that was part of the mission. And luckily I met Mary, who was my pastry chef at the San Francisco Baking Institute, and has a lot of experience, years and years of experience, and it has brought a lot of professionalism and expertise to this. And she used to have a wedding cake business, so we also actually do wedding cakes. She's a really good cake decorator, but she also has been she's worked for the Marriott. She's been to Cordon Bleu. She really understands also the operating aspects of a kitchen. And luckily, two other people that are also working for us, I've worked with before, both Muna and Anna, and so it's like a family really here. And it was very important for me to know the people that are in our team, so that we feel comfortable, and it's like there's a culture of happiness here too.
I love it. I love it. And ladies and gentlemen, she said it quickly, but they do wedding cakes. Good to know. Kosher wedding cake. This is
and bar and bat mitzvah sheet cakes. We don't do that many wedding cakes because it is actually a lot of work, and we're a small group, but we do them. But we are also really good at the sheet cakes.
I love it. So from start to finish, how long was the whole kind of construction setup process?
It was really part of the whole process of building the building here. So I guess it took a little over a year. And we actually have now been around for almost a year and a half, and we're still fine-tuning things. We're learning what our consumers want and how we can get things to them. So we're very much evolving we do sell a lot of challah. That's our largest item that we sell. And we sell to schools. We sell to Warnick Jewish Day School, and we sell to the Palo Alto JCC, the fitness facility, and we're expanding. We sell we also, our real specialty also is gluten-free. So you find out all these things, like I didn't know people would really like the gluten-free challah, but our formula for gluten-free challah is very unique and people love it. And so it is an opportunity. We're really still exploring the opportunities of how to expand, because you don't really know in the beginning. So now we see that there's a big opportunity to expand our gluten-free challah, and we could ship almost anywhere in the Bay Area or even throughout California. So we can do on-site sales, pop-up sales at people's schools. We have a lot of opportunity, and it's just, actually, this has been a very fun year especially for someone that likes startup stuff, because you get to experiment and do different things and see what works.
I love it. So that was literally my next question. Now, we get your challah every week because we're also a Warnick family, and I eat about 85% of it, and my son eats the rest. Now, the gluten-free challah, I must say this because my wife's gluten-free, so is my daughter. It's the best gluten-free challah I've ever had. And no, I'm not being paid to say that. Legit. Like my wife says, she actually says we can't get it every week because I eat too much of it. It's so good. Okay. Now, without giving away any secrets, okay, why, Manishtana, why is your gluten-free challah so much better than all the rest? What is it? Can you tell us in general terms?
No. I can't. It's no too hard. I mean, Mary actually formulated it and she's expert at it. And we use a very high quality oat flour. It's kosher for hamotzi. And so it has all the right percentage of grains and stuff. So we just have a very good mix of a multi-blend gluten-free challah, and we have a toasted, maybe it's because it's the toasted oat blend. It's not just toasted oat. It's not just oat, it's toasted oat. And it's where we buy. I think one of the things are why maybe some people consider our challah like on a higher end price is because we only use really good ingredients. And we're very, not just in the gluten-free challah, specifically the gluten-free challah, but also in anything that we use in chocolate. Like all our chocolate is high quality Belgian chocolate. It doesn't have that greasy taste of other Parve, like low quality chocolate. We only like, especially in key ingredients, we only buy the best.
It's the toasted oat blend.
Maybe that's it. I don't know. I didn't want to give any secrets, but
I
that
know
was.
there's more to it than that, but seriously, if you've never tried gluten-free challah, you definitely want to try Krembo's. It's amazing. Not only that, the challah itself, and I've had hundreds, thousands of chalot in my life, is incredible. At the end of this on video, Fran's going to show us the ovens. So maybe we can see some things inside of the actual bakery. Why did you call it Krembo?
I wanted it to have a very strong Israeli feeling. And I think Krembo in Israel is iconic. And it has also a humorous, not, it has a cultural thing, but it's also like fun. People have all sorts of jokes about it, or how many Krembos can you eat at once? It's like the Oreo. How do you eat the inside or the outside first? It just has this iconic feeling. You think of Israel. And I just think that the silhouette of a Krembo, and then besides that, many of the Israelis that come to the cafe, they're like, you mean you really have Krembo? So actually, we don't, it's not just in name only, it's in product as well. And we have probably, okay, I don't know if this is completely 100% accurate, but I think we might be the only place in the United States that makes Krembo from a serious machine. Like we have an enrober and we make it, and we make them, of course, they're not the same large, the ones that you see on the shelf stable. It's actually small bite-sized ones, but they're actually more gourmet and delicate. It had a two-pronged benefit. I think it's a very strong message about Israel and the positive things of Israel. And then it's also very tasty. Actually, you can buy them here.
I love it. Okay, so we'll take a look at that machine a little bit later. So tell us, what is your vision really for Krembo moving forward? What do you see in the future?
I just want to make this a very successful business that people know that they can come here to get all their pastry needs, kosher parve pastry needs for special occasions, and also to supply challah. Really, I want to supply challah to as many Jewish institutions as possible. I'm not interested in going into the retail space of the grocery store. I think there's a lot of opportunity in the Bay Area to ship or to deliver a product to schools and Jewish institutions, but also to ship. I could ship some products locally around the West Coast. I think gluten-free, actually, the gluten-free challah does, I think, have potential to be much bigger than it is, because it is unique and it is very tasty. And we are not a gluten-free kitchen, though. We are, we make other things in this kitchen, so we can't really claim it to be like legally gluten-free, but it is, people that have celiac do eat our product and they've never had any problems. We make a lot of extra precautions in separating our ingredients from gluten and not gluten. And of course, in the oven, we don't mix. When we put the gluten in, we don't make the other challah too. We do it on a separate day. I do think that there's a big opportunity for that, but I think the vision is to just grow this business where we are. We have a lot of opportunity to grow it. We have a lot of capacity to expand and make more.
I love it. I love it. I'll definitely support that gluten-free challah wherever it goes. You have fans over here. So before we go into the video tour of the bakery, one question I always like to ask people that are on the Holy Sparks podcast is, what do you think the Jewish world needs now most and why?
I don't know. I think after October 7th, I think we all need to support Israel and believe in Israel. And I would just leave it at that.
Okay, Fran, take us on a tour.
Okay.
We have a live tour here. You may see some people working in the bakery.
All right, there we go. All right, so the first thing, I guess I'll take you to the front. As you enter in our bakery, we have a street sign here. It's almost like you're a retail bakery. We're not a retail bakery, but you walk in, you see the Krembo sign. They taste good, think good,
Hmm.
and kosher baked goods. And we have a little icon of our Krembo. And then here's our very Israeli themed cafe. Even my favorite thing almost in the whole building is this like Western Wall fake stone. It's actually from Israel with the granules of the Jerusalem stone. It's actually not. It's granules of the Jerusalem stone done in a like a fake, very light Velcro. Individual bricks are Velcroed onto the wall. So it's just really cool because it's actually hollow. It's not, and it came from Israel, and it wasn't that heavy. I just think that's a really creative thing that we did. And then here are designs of each of the individual tables that have different Jewish symbols on here that really are part of important aspects of Judaism: the lighting of the candles, the mikvah, the blessing of the challah, and of course we have an espresso machine, which you have to have in any Jewish Israeli cafe. That everyone loves that, and we're very like modern. I hope you can sense this sort of sense of Israel. Then we have this shuk feeling where we have our challah out here. Of course, today is Friday, and people are here to buy their challah. So you might see some customers. And this, we have our display of baked goods out in front, including our Krembo here. We see you can buy the Krembo. We have chocolate babka. We've got loaf cakes. And then here, if you can see, this is our commercial kitchen. You can wave, everyone, if you want to say hi. We're on a podcast right now. This is our team, our Krembo team, Anna, Muna, and Mary. And this is our wonderful oven, our deck oven, which we make a 4-foot challah for large weddings and bar and bat mitzvahs. And here we are making lemon cake. That looks like lemon cake. We share the kitchen with Chabad. They make the high preschool hot lunch, which we have the best hot lunch for high preschool, for any preschool, I'm sure, anywhere. So I think that gives you a good feel. There's our commercial mixers.
You talked about a Krembo machine.
Yes, I could show you that. It's called an enrober, but it's not set up right now. This is a chocolate temperer, which makes our chocolate very usable. This is actually the vertical version of the enrober. It's not set up, but it has when set up, you lay it out and it's a little conveyor belt. And in fact, if you go on our website, www.krembobakedgoods.com, you can see it in action on our website. We have a video of that.
Fran, thank you so much for taking some time to show us the bakery in action. And I always want to, anything else that you want to tell us about the bakery, what you have coming up?
We always have things coming up for all the holidays. We just sold like 1,000 hamantashen, which were delicious, and we did sufganiyot, and we're always doing specials. And really think about, it's very hard to get kosher sheet cakes for your special occasions, and if you order ahead of time, we're really happy to help. We want to spread the word of keeping kosher and in the Bay Area.
I love it. I always want to end with a blessing. And first of all, thank you for your time. I know you're busy. It's Friday. Everyone's getting ready for Shabbos. Not too late to get a challah from Krembo, but Hashem should bless you that your bakery should not only feed the people, but really inspire them to want to take the next step in their journey, whatever that is. And I can certainly say from personal experience, what you guys are bringing to the community and the market is amazing. It's top shelf for sure. You definitely want to try it. And we just appreciate you so much, what you bring to the community, both you and your husband, Bobby. And we want to wish you all the success and more. Tracht good and tasting good as well. Shabbat shalom.
Great.
Thanks.
Shabbat shalom. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that.